You climb into bed after a long day. The house is quiet, the lights are off, and just as your body begins to settle, it starts. A burning sensation in the soles of your feet. Not quite pain, not quite heat, something in between, like your feet are being held too close to a fire that nobody else can feel. You kick off the covers. You press your feet against the cool side of the mattress. Maybe you get up and stand on the cold bathroom floor for a moment of relief. And then you lie back down, staring at the ceiling, wondering what on earth is wrong with you. If this is happening to you, if burning feet at night have become part of your life, I need you to understand something right now. This is not a strange quirk. This is not your imagination. And it is absolutely not something you simply have to accept as part of getting older. That burning sensation is a signal. Your body is trying to tell you something important. And in far too many cases, that signal is being ignored, misunderstood, or dismissed, sometimes by the very people who should be investigating it most carefully. Because here is what most seniors never realize until it's too late. Burning feet at night can be one of the earliest warning signs of several serious underlying conditions. Conditions that are highly treatable when caught early, but that quietly worsen when they go unaddressed. In the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through what your burning feet may actually be telling you. What is happening inside your nerves and blood vessels when this occurs? Which hidden problems are most commonly responsible? And most importantly, what you can do about it. Stay with me, because this information could genuinely change things for you. And if you're new here, if someone shared this video with you or you found it while searching for answers, please take a second to like and subscribe. Here at Dr. Silas Redford Wellness, everything we create is built around giving people over 60 the honest, detailed health information that doesn't always make it into a standard doctor's visit. We're glad you're here. Now, let's talk about what your feet are trying to tell you. Let me introduce you to a man named Eugene. Eugene is 69 years old, a retired postal worker from outside of Memphis, Tennessee. He spent 31 years on his feet, walking routes, carrying bags, logging miles every single workday. So when his feet started burning at night about 3 years ago, he assumed it was just wear and tear, old damage from decades of hard work finally catching up. He mentioned it to his doctor during a routine checkup. His doctor told him it was probably plantar fasciitis or circulation issues from years of standing, gave him a referral to a podiatrist, and moved on. The podiatrist found nothing structurally wrong. Eugene was given orthotics and sent home. The burning continued. It started getting worse, spreading up into his ankles, occasionally moving into his lower legs. He began having trouble sleeping. The exhaustion started affecting his mood, his patience, his relationship with his wife. He began Googling his symptoms at 2 in the morning, falling deeper into a well of worry without any real answers. He felt like he was going crazy, or at the very least, aging badly in ways he hadn't expected. What Eugene was eventually found to have, after finally seeing a neurologist more than a year after his symptoms began, was small fiber neuropathy combined with early-stage prediabetes, two conditions working together, both of them treatable, both of them progressing silently while he was being told to try better shoes. Eugene's story is not unusual. In fact, it's one of the most common patterns in senior health, a meaningful symptom that gets attributed to the surface rather than the source. And because the source goes untreated, the window for easy intervention quietly closes. So let's talk about what is actually happening when your feet burn at night, because understanding the mechanism is what makes the solution make sense. Your feet contain an extraordinarily dense network of nerve endings, more nerve endings per square centimeter than almost anywhere else in the body. Many of these are small fiber nerves, the kind responsible for detecting temperature, pain, and subtle changes in sensation. When something damages or irritates these small fiber nerves, one of the most common ways they express that damage is through burning, tingling, or hypersensitivity. And the reason this happens most intensely at night is important to understand. During the day, your brain is processing an enormous amount of sensory information: movement, sound, visual input, physical activity, social interaction. All of that sensory noise essentially drowns out the quieter, subtler signals coming from your feet. But at night, when all that background activity disappears and your brain isn't being pulled in a dozen directions, those nerve signals become much louder. They move to the foreground. What was a dull, ignorable sensation during the afternoon becomes an undeniable, sleep-disrupting experience in the dark and quiet of the bedroom. This is why burning feet at night is such a meaningful diagnostic clue. It's not that the damage only happens at night. It's that the night is when your body can finally get your attention. And the worst part is, what is causing that nerve irritation is rarely the foot itself. The foot is where you feel it, but the problem almost always originates somewhere else entirely. So let's go through the most important underlying causes, because each one has its own profile, its own warning signs beyond the burning, and its own specific treatment path. The first and most critical hidden problem to understand is blood sugar dysregulation. And I want to be specific here because this does not only apply to people with diagnosed diabetes. Research shows that small fiber neuropathy, the type of nerve damage most associated with burning feet, can begin developing in the pre-diabetic stage, years before blood sugar ever crosses the official diabetic threshold. In fact, some studies suggest that up to 50% of people with prediabetes already have measurable small fiber nerve damage by the time they're diagnosed. Here's why this happens. The small blood vessels that feed your peripheral nerves, tiny capillaries thinner than a human hair, are highly sensitive to blood sugar fluctuations. When blood sugar runs even slightly elevated over months and years, these vessels sustain chronic low-level injury. They thicken, they become less efficient at delivering oxygen and nutrients. The nerve fibers they supply begin to malfunction, and the first sign of that malfunction is often burning, tingling, or unusual heat in the feet and lower legs. What doctors rarely explain is that a standard fasting glucose test, the one most commonly ordered in a routine physical, can miss this entirely. Blood sugar can spike dramatically after a meal and still return to a normal fasting level by morning. A test called a hemoglobin A1C gives a better picture of average blood sugar over 3 months. But even more revealing is a 2-hour post-meal glucose test, which captures what your blood sugar does in response to food. And this is where prediabetes most commonly hides. If you have burning feet and you have never had a 2-hour post-meal glucose reading, that conversation with your doctor is worth having. Now let's talk about the second hidden problem, and this one genuinely surprises people because it sounds so basic. We are talking about vitamin B12 deficiency. B12 is required for the production and maintenance of myelin, the protective sheath that wraps around your nerve fibers and allows them to transmit signals cleanly and efficiently. When B12 is low, myelin begins to degrade. And when myelin degrades, nerves begin misfiring, sending signals that don't correspond to any real physical stimulus. Burning that has no external cause. Tingling that appears for no obvious reason. Sensations that feel like heat without any heat source. B12 deficiency is extraordinarily common in adults over 60. The stomach lining produces less intrinsic factor with age, a protein required for B12 absorption. Many common medications deplete B12 further. Metformin, the most widely prescribed medication for blood sugar management, significantly reduces B12 absorption and is directly associated with peripheral neuropathy in long-term users. Proton pump inhibitors for acid reflux, medications taken by tens of millions of older Americans, often for years, also suppress the stomach acid needed to free B12 from food. So many seniors are caught in a double bind. Their blood sugar medication is depleting a nutrient whose deficiency makes their nerve symptoms worse. And what makes B12 deficiency so insidious is that it can appear normal on a standard blood test. The standard reference range for B12 is considered adequate by laboratory standards, but may be functionally insufficient for the nervous system. Many neurologists now look for B12 levels at the higher end of the normal range, above 400 to 500 picograms per milliliter, when evaluating patients with neuropathy symptoms. If your level is sitting at 250 and you have burning feet, that number deserves a fresh conversation with your doctor. Let me tell you about a woman named Sylvia. Sylvia is 74, lives in a small community in coastal Maine, and has been on a proton pump inhibitor for acid reflux for about 9 years. She had been experiencing burning feet and occasional numbness in her toes for about 2 years before anyone connected these symptoms to her medication. Her B12 level was technically in the normal range, but at the very low end. When her new primary care doctor finally looked at the full picture and suggested a trial of B12 injections, the change within 2 months was significant. The burning reduced. The numbness in her toes began to improve. She started sleeping through the night again for the first time in years. Sylvia told her daughter she wished someone had put the pieces together sooner. And that is the frustration I hear so often. Not that the answers don't exist, but that nobody was looking in the right direction. The third hidden problem connected to burning feet is thyroid dysfunction, specifically hypothyroidism, or an underactive thyroid. The thyroid gland produces hormones that regulate metabolism at a cellular level, including the metabolism of nerve tissue. When thyroid function is low, metabolic processes throughout the body slow down. Fluid can accumulate in tissues, including around nerve pathways, creating a kind of compression and irritation that manifests as burning, tingling, or numbness, often starting in the hands and feet. Hypothyroidism is significantly more common in women over 60, though it affects men as well. What makes it a common misdiagnosis is that its symptoms, fatigue, weight gain, cold intolerance, dry skin, constipation, and yes, peripheral nerve symptoms, can each individually be attributed to aging. When a doctor sees a 67-year-old woman who is tired and has dry skin and burning feet, that's just part of getting older, is sometimes the answer she gets. But a simple TSH blood test can identify thyroid dysfunction, and thyroid treatment, when needed, is effective and generally well tolerated. In a moment, I'll explain one more important hidden cause that doesn't get nearly enough attention, and it involves something in your daily life that you may never have considered a health issue at all. But first, let's talk about circulation. Because while nerve damage is the most common cause of burning feet in seniors, vascular insufficiency, poor circulation to the feet and lower legs, is a contributing factor that often makes the problem worse. When the blood vessels supplying your feet are narrowed by plaque, stiffened by years of elevated blood sugar or blood pressure, or compromised by inflammation, the tissues in your feet receive less oxygen than they need. And oxygen-starved tissue produces sensations that overlap with nerve-based burning: heat, pressure, a crawling discomfort that is difficult to describe but impossible to ignore. Peripheral artery disease, PAD, is estimated to affect around 8 million Americans, and it is significantly underdiagnosed. Many people with PAD have no obvious leg pain during walking, which is the symptom most associated with the condition. Instead, they have nighttime burning, cramping, or discomfort in the feet and lower legs. An ankle brachial index test, a simple, non-invasive comparison of blood pressure in the arm versus the ankle, can identify PAD quickly and easily. Yet it's rarely ordered unless a patient specifically asks about circulation. Now, the hidden cause I mentioned that doesn't get enough attention. We are talking about alcohol consumption. Even moderate, regular alcohol intake has a direct toxic effect on peripheral nerve fibers. Alcohol interferes with the absorption of B vitamins, including B12, B1, thiamine, and B6, all of which are essential for nerve health. It also appears to have a direct toxic effect on the myelin sheath, independent of its nutritional consequences. Alcoholic peripheral neuropathy is a well-documented condition, and it does not require heavy drinking to develop. For seniors who are nutritionally depleted, have reduced liver function, and may already have other risk factors for nerve damage, even regular moderate alcohol consumption can meaningfully accelerate nerve deterioration. This is not about judgment. It's about information. If you have burning feet and you have a glass of wine most evenings, that relationship is worth examining honestly and discussing with your doctor. Let me talk now about what you can actually do, because all of this information is only valuable if it leads somewhere practical. The first and most important step is to advocate for a thorough evaluation. Not just a "your feet burn, let's try orthotics" conversation, but a genuine investigation that includes a hemoglobin A1C, a fasting glucose, and ideally a 2-hour post-meal glucose test, a full B12 level, a TSH thyroid panel, and an ankle brachial index test if circulation concerns are present. If your current doctor is not willing to pursue these in the context of your symptoms, a referral to a neurologist is entirely reasonable to request. From a nutritional standpoint, the most impactful steps involve protecting and supporting the nerves you still have. B12, as I discussed, is critical, and for seniors over 65 with absorption concerns, supplementing with methylcobalamin sublingually or via injection is often more effective than standard oral tablets. B1 and B6 play supporting roles in nerve health. Alpha-lipoic acid, an antioxidant that has been studied specifically in the context of peripheral neuropathy, has shown meaningful benefit in multiple clinical trials for reducing burning and tingling in the feet. Doses typically studied range from 600 to 1,200 milligrams per day. As always, discuss with your doctor before adding any supplement, especially if you are on medications. Reducing blood sugar spikes through diet, reducing refined carbohydrates, increasing protein and healthy fat, prioritizing fiber-rich vegetables, and taking a short walk after meals is one of the most powerful tools available for both preventing and slowing the progression of blood sugar-related nerve damage. And increasing omega-3 fatty acids through fatty fish, walnuts, or high-quality fish oil supplements helps reduce the vascular inflammation that damages the tiny vessels feeding your nerves. For the burning itself, in the short term, elevating your feet slightly at night can help with any circulatory component. Cool, not ice-cold, foot soaks before bed can provide relief for some people. Magnesium glycinate, taken in the evening, in addition to its sleep benefits, can reduce the nerve hypersensitivity that makes nighttime burning worse. I want to come back to Eugene one more time. After his diagnosis, after more than a year of being told the problem was in his shoes, he finally got the answers he needed and started addressing them directly. He changed his diet significantly, reducing the blood sugar spikes that were damaging his small fiber nerves. He started B12 supplementation. He began walking after dinner instead of sitting. And while his neuropathy has not completely reversed, some of that small fiber damage was established enough to be permanent, it has stabilized. The progression stopped. The burning that once kept him awake for hours has become manageable. He sleeps now. His mood has lifted. He told his wife that he feels like himself again. "I just needed someone to take it seriously," he said. And he's right. You deserve to have your symptoms taken seriously. You deserve a diagnosis that addresses the cause, not just the surface. And you deserve the knowledge that burning feet at night, as common as this experience is among seniors, is not something you simply have to endure. There are answers. There are paths forward, and they are available to you. Please do not write this symptom off. Please do not let another year pass while the underlying cause continues working quietly against you. The window for effective intervention is real, but it is not unlimited. Every month that passes without addressing a B12 deficiency is another month of myelin degradation. Every month with uncontrolled blood sugar is another month of small vessel damage. The nerves you protect today are the ones that keep you steady, comfortable, and independent for the years ahead. You have more power over this than you may have been led to believe. Small, consistent changes in what you eat, what you ask your doctor, what you supplement, how you move, accumulate into real, measurable outcomes. This is not hopeless territory. It is territory that responds to attention, care, and the right information. Please share this video with someone who has been dealing with these symptoms and hasn't found answers yet. You might be giving them the direction they've been searching for. And leave a comment below. Have you experienced burning feet at night? Have you been told it's just aging? Have you found something that helped? This community is full of people on the same journey, and your experience genuinely matters here. We learn from each other in ways that no doctor's office can fully replicate. Take care of those feet. They've carried you a long way, and they deserve to carry you further still.